So, does the Mini 2 make the Mavic Air obsolete? Coming right up. What's up, all Drone Man X? Welcome back to Drone Logic for your drone and tech related info from my point of view. So as y'all know, in my previous videos, I used to have a Mavic Air, and I bought this after I lost my Phantom 4 Pro, and I found one for a great price on eBay, and I intended it to be like a fill-in until I can get something better. And when I first started using it, I didn't like it because of a lot of the, comparing it to the Phantom 4 and a lot of its shortcomings. But that Mavic Air, it really grew on me for everything it brought to the table. It's a good drone. It is a good drone. It's capable of doing prosumer level work. Anything. There's not much that you can do with the Mavic 2 Pro. That you can't do with a Mavic Air. It's a good drone. However, though, is it, as the title goes, does the Mini 2, because the technology is constantly going, but does the Mini 2 make the Mavic Air obsolete? Well, first of all, what do I mean by obsolete? Well, if you a type of person, you don't have a drone and you're looking for a lower cost drone that's capable, and you're looking to get your feet into the arena, and you had to choose between say a Mini 2 and you find a Mavic Air, let's say with a fly mode combo at a good price on eBay or online, well, what should you choose? Well, that's the question I'm asking. And well, first of all, the short answer is yes. The Mini 2 just simply makes the Mavic Air irrelevant. It's just irrelevant, almost obsolete now, because it doesn't make sense to go for the Mavic Air over the Mini 2 for different reasons. But I have a list of 4 key areas in which the Mini 2 just makes the Mavic Air obsolete. Now, first of all, I'm going to talk about where they're similar. First of all, both drones have a bit rate of 100 megabits per second. Both drones can do 4K at 30 frames per second. Both drones have the same sensor size at 1/2 inch sensor. So in that regard, they're similar. However, I'm going to talk about why I believe the Mini 2, again, it just makes the Mavic Air just obsolete. Now, the first thing is the flight time. If there was one thing, my biggest pet peeve with the Mavic Air was the flight time. We were advertised by DJI 21 minutes of flight time, which would translate to maybe roughly about a good 18 minutes of time in the air. Well, I didn't see anything remotely. I didn't see that. Basically, when on a full charge, if I were to fully charge a battery and like wait for it to charge up, and as soon as it charge up, I put it in my drone and go out and fly, my time meter, the time bar across the top of the screen, would say 14 minutes, which would give me, I guess, about 12 minutes of flight time. So that was my biggest pet peeve with the Mavic Air, is that flight time, man. Well, with the Mini 2, the flight time is 30 minutes. So if you get it up in the air and you look at your time meter, of course you have it's a fly app, so it's different. It'll say 30 minutes when you start down, which will give you you can expect about, if you fly the battery down to 20%, which is what I usually do, you can expect to get about 25 minutes of flight time out of that. That's twice what you get from the Mavic Air. What I was getting from the Mavic Air, I can't speak for anyone else. I've seen videos of people saying that they would actually get that 21 minutes of flight time. Not me. So I don't know what batteries they had, but I had 4 batteries and I got the same situation on all 4 batteries. Well, the Mini 2 just blows the Mavic Air out of the water in that regard. There's no close. There's no comparison. Then where it really blows it out of water, let's talk about the transmission system. we know that the Mavic Air had that enhanced Wi-Fi, and if the technology existed today, of course the Mavic Air would have iConsync 2.0, because if you can fit iConsync 2.0 in a Mini 2, you can get it in the Mavic Air. But again, you're talking about the technology difference. You know, the Mavic Air came out in early 2018, February 2018, while the Mavic Mini came out last year. So again, 2 years. Well, yeah, 2 years. So 2 years is an eternity when it comes down to tech and the drone industry. So by that time, DJI has shrunk iConsync 2.0 to the point it can fit something like the Mini 2. But iConsync 2.0 is just mild. I mean, just light years better than enhanced Wi-Fi. Because I noticed at times where when I was flying with my Mavic Air, you know, I would start to get breakup at 400 feet. Well, with the iConsync 2.0, you know, you just, most of the time, when you're getting breakup, it's to the point where it's ready to disconnect, and it's just that rock solid. So transmission system, no comparison. Now let's talk about speed. The Mavic Air in position mode was very sluggish. That's one of the first things that I noticed coming from the Phantom 4 Pro. You know, the top speed of the Phantom 4 was like 25 miles per hour in position mode, whereas in the Mavic Air, it was like 16 miles per hour. That was just extremely sluggish. Now in sport mode, it would hit, you know, Mavic Air hit, my top speed was like 43 miles per hour, so it could hang with the other drones. But the problem is that you really don't want to put it in sport mode because you already have very limited flight time, and you're just going to blow through that. Plus, I really don't go into sport mode like talking about it. So I'm dealing with 16 miles per hour. Meanwhile, the Mini 2, my top speed I've gotten was like 23 miles per hour, which is still faster than what the Mavic Air produced. Now in sport mode, I think with the Mini 2, I probably can get 33, 34 miles per hour, which is less than the other drones or less than Mavic Air. But for me, the Mini 2 would be better because I just don't fly in sport mode that much. I just don't do sport mode like talking about it. So in that regard, again, the Mini 2 just makes the Mavic Air obsolete. Now the last issue would be portability. Obviously, the Mini 2 was, or the Minis in general, were designed to be small, lightweight drones so that you don't have to register with the FAA. Basically, it was mostly about the weight. But you also have a very small, very portable drone. And in that regard, again, that just blows the Mavic Air out of the water, even though the Mavic Air is not a big drone. But when you, like I said, when you put it inside the little case that it came with, which is nice, but you do lower your profile. It's just a bigger profile inside that case if you try to travel with it. Whereas in the Mavic Air, you have a drone that's smaller than the controller, and you have the battery. If you buy the fly mode kit, you get the charging hub, which is also smaller than the controller. So it's very portable. And in that regard, like I say, the Mavic Air portability just blows. I wouldn't say it completely blows the Mavic Air out of water, but it's definitely better. And this is why I say the Mavic Mini is just, it makes the Mavic Air obsolete. It's just now, it just doesn't make sense to go out and buy a Mavic Air over the Mini 2. Especially, like I said, I got my Fly Mode combo for like $450. That was a bargain. And I seriously doubt you'll find that even though that the Mavic Air is not even being produced anymore, you can still find Mavic Airs out there, brand new unsealed, basically brand new, sealed Mavic Airs out there. But even if you can find a Mavic Air with a Fly Mode combo at the same price as a Mini 2 with a Fly Mode combo, you might as well go to the Mini 2 because you're getting all the benefits. You can just get more benefits. But not to say that you shouldn't fly your Mavic Air. If you have a Mavic Air, then by all means use it because, like I said, it's a good drone. It gives you the same output as the Mini 2, right? 4K 30 frames per second. Just that if you didn't have a drone and you were in a market to buy one, I would go with the Mini 2 all day. Again, that's just me. That's my 2 cents on it. But like that, but we have to expect that because the technology is just advancing. And eventually, The Mini 2 is going to be obsolete when the next thing that comes out. You know, when the Mini 3 comes out, it's going to be obsolete. And right now, you know, Altel is releasing. I know they basically has released their nanos and lights. They don't their nanos don't completely make the Mini 2 irrelevant because of the price difference. But eventually, like I say, all of these drones are going to be obsolete. But in my book, in my opinion, yes, the Mavic Air is obsolete because of the Mini 2. But like I said, it's just me, y'all. Anyway, as always, 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 until next time.